Are there some things in your life you would like to do, but you haven't because something is holding you back? Do you have this mindset that's constantly telling you you can't do that before you even try? Or do you continually come up with excuses as to why something is just out of your reach or impossible for you to do? If you answered yes to any of those questions, then most likely you've got some limiting beliefs that are holding you back from achieving your goals, your dreams, and living the life that you want. Hi, if we haven't met before, I'm Shelley from Taming Frenzy. So first, to get started, what are limiting beliefs? Well, they're just the things we tell ourselves about why we can't do something that we otherwise might want to try and do. Most of us have or have had some limiting beliefs. They're extremely common. Today we're going to talk about some limiting beliefs that are common to older women and going to give you a little bit of tough love to push back on those beliefs so we can deal with them and get rid of them. Perhaps you've told yourself any of these following things. 1, I am too old. Usually that means you're thinking that you're too old to do something like write a book or start a business or start a nonprofit or go back to school. Perhaps you want to learn another language and you think you're too old. Okay, here's the deal. You are the age that you are, and none of us are getting any younger. In fact, every day, all of us in the world are getting just a little bit older. The question then becomes, are you going to use this excuse of, I'm just too old, to prevent you from doing something while you are as young as you're ever going to be? I think the implication here, or the fear, is that we don't have enough time left in front of us. We don't have perhaps enough years we think left to live, perhaps to start a career as an author or to start a business. We fear that because we're older, we don't have the time it would take to do something that someone who is much younger would have with many years in front of them. And I understand this one. I have struggled with this one a lot. When I got my cancer diagnosis 3 years ago, I'll admit I spent some time sitting on the couch feeling sorry for myself and wondering, am I just going to turn around and die? How long do I have? It's very common if you've got a health condition or physical limitations or impairments, it's very easy to feel like you don't have the time that you might need to pursue something. That old feeling of why bother can be a pretty powerful one that whispers in your ear. But here's something that I have learned, and that's this. None of us knows when our expiration date is due, and the thing is, it may be a lot further out into the future than you think it is. In the meantime, wouldn't you rather be doing something that makes you happy, that lights you up, that excites you, that makes your soul sing, that makes you anxious to get up and tackle the day? Wouldn't that be a lot better than just sitting around waiting for the lights to go out, so to speak? Second thing you may have told yourself is this: I'm not young enough to whatever. Here's something else that I do know for sure. Young people do not have the market cornered on things like creativity, vision, desire for adventure, for persistence, for ambition, or for innovation, or for anything else for that matter. We need to stop categorizing activities and things as for young people or for more mature people. Third thing older women frequently tell themselves, and I understand this one too, and that's this one: I'm not pretty enough. And we think that because we think you have to be pretty to have people listen to you, to pay attention to you on social media, or to follow you, or to seek you out for advice or for things that you have to offer. And I'll be honest, pretty's nice. Who wouldn't like to be pretty? But at some point in life, people become less concerned with how pretty is the package that's delivering the message, and they go to looking for other qualities. They go to looking for things like wisdom, experience, kindness, compassion, forgiveness, guidance, and a multitude of other qualities that you have developed over the years that you have lived. These qualities have been honed and have been fine-tuned over all of the years that you've lived. They're now a benefit, and they're not a limitation. The point is that your age and stage may be more of an asset than you realize, and it's not the liability that you think it is. But you'll never know if you let those ideas or that limiting belief that says, I'm not pretty enough, hold you back from taking the chance to put something out there. A fourth thing you might tell yourself is, well, I'm just not good at talking in front of people, being on camera, technology. I'm not good at business. I'm not good at creating things. I'm not very creative. I'm not good at sticking with projects. Okay, Here's something. Maybe you're not currently good at any of those things. Maybe you're not as good at sticking with projects as you like. Maybe technology is difficult for you. It certainly is for me. I can raise my hand to that one. Maybe you are nervous about being on camera and all those things. I've been there too. Still am sometimes. So even if you're not currently good at something, you can get better at it with practice and experience. But one thing is for sure, you'll never get better at something if you refuse to take a chance and give it a shot and try. Fifth thing you may tell yourself is something like this. I could never learn to write a book, start a business, learn another language, start a nonprofit, any of those things that you might feel like, well, I'm just too old to develop the skills that I would need to be able to do that. Well, seriously? Just being honest with you for a minute, you've learned things in the past. Of course you have. So why should learning something new be any different? You've got years of experience behind you that prove to yourself that you are capable of learning new things, that you are capable of acquiring new skills and putting those into practice because you've done it in the past. Everybody starts out as a total and complete novice. Everybody's an amateur. Everybody's a newbie when they start anything that is new. But with practice, people get better and better, and eventually that practice gets to the point where those behaviors and those skills and things are simply automatic. And you can get there too, because you've proven in the past that you can. Why should you be any less capable of learning than someone else just because they're younger? Sixth thing that you may have told yourself, I don't have any experience at whatever, or I don't have any expertise in that area. Well, okay, maybe that's true. Question then becomes, what are you going to do about it? If you don't have any expertise in an area, get some. There's ways to develop expertise by expanding your knowledge. Pick up a book. Talk to an expert. Observe people who are competent and good at the thing that you want to learn. Volunteer for something that will get you some experience. After all, as we discussed in the previous point, you're capable of learning, right? But here's another thing that you need to consider. You may have experience and expertise that you are discounting and that you are undervaluing. If you think back through your life, there are probably things that you have learned, things that you have done that may be so common to you that you don't really even realize the depth of knowledge or experience that you may have, because that's just natural to you. You don't think about it. To somebody else, it may be something that they truly need, and they need you to help offer them that. But those experience and that expertise may be just the thing for you to share with someone else. So don't discount the wisdom and the experience that you have already got. Give yourself credit where credit is due. And the things that you truly are lacking, develop a plan to acquire those skills. Seventh thing that's pretty common for a lot of us to tell ourselves, and that's this. Well, I'm just a fill in the blank. I'm just a wife. I'm just a mother. I'm just a teacher. And the implication there is, by saying that I'm just a whatever, the implication is that we're incapable of being something else or becoming something else. That's not true. Those other things that we labeled ourselves as just a, most of those are just roles that we have played at different points in our life. They are not the definition of who we are or the things that we can be. Just because your primary role was motherhood when you were younger does not mean that you cannot become someone different as you learn new things. Number 8 thing that's common for us to tell ourselves, and that is, I don't have enough, whatever. Maybe I don't have enough time. I don't have enough money. I don't have enough resources. I don't have enough people to help me. Now, in this particular limiting belief that we tell ourselves, I don't mean time in the respect of how many years are out in front of us. I mean hours in the day. Okay. Frequently, it's common for women to tell themselves, I don't have enough time because they're busy. In fact, I remember, back when I was younger and currently now that I'm older, talking with friends about how when we were younger, we thought, wow, when we get these kids grown up and out of the house, or when we get to where we can quit that job that we're doing, we'll have all this time on our hands and life will be so much easier because we just don't have so many demands and responsibilities. Well, joke was on us. Somehow it seems that the older you get, your responsibilities change, but they don't lessen. Most of us have found that we are busier than ever, maybe not with kids in the house, but with other activities. The thing is, you may have limited time. I'm not discounting that. You may have elderly parents that you're helping with. You may keep grandkids so your, kids can go to work during the day. You may still be working a full-time job. The question becomes one of how do we spend the hours that we do have? And all of us have the ability to make choices about how to spend that time. If you've only got an hour in the evening after everything else is done for the day, your question then becomes, how do I spend that hour? Do I spend that hour, curled up on the couch watching TV or scrolling my phone? Or do I spend that hour getting busy on whatever it is that you're wanting to learn to do or that you're working towards? All those little steps help you make progress on your goals because they help move you from where you are now to where you want to be in the future. But you do have to be willing to take advantage of the time you've got and put it to the best use. All of us have to make a conscious decision about how we choose to spend our time. As far as those concerns that I don't have enough money to pursue whatever, you'd be surprised at how many free resources are out there, from online articles, books, Facebook groups where you can interact with other people, and even your Kindle Unlimited subscription. The limit is simply your willingness to spend your time learning something new, and then, of course, applying it. None of us has all the time or money that we might think we need to achieve or to do something, but there are things we can do without huge investments of time or money, either one. Now, all 8 of these limiting beliefs seem to have a couple of things in common that I've observed, and that is that they all seem to boil down, to me at least, they all boil down to fear and to self-doubt. Now, the antidote to fear is to develop courage. The antidote to self-doubt is to develop confidence. Now, confidence, of course, doesn't mean that we think that everything we touch or that everything we attempt is going to be perfectly successful. It doesn't mean that we think everything's going to be sunshine and rainbows and that nothing is ever going to go wrong. Because let's be honest, everything that we attempt is not guaranteed to be a success. It's not guaranteed to work perfectly the first time. It's not guaranteed to work at all, to be honest. And just because we develop our confidence does not mean that everything's going to work out always the way we want it to. Instead, what confidence really is the belief that we can handle whatever it is that comes along. Confidence is that realization that no matter what happens, we're going to live over it, we're going to get past it, we're going to deal with it, we're going to move on. Brandon Bouchard says, confidence is the belief in your ability to figure it out. And here's the thing. With age comes experience. Some of them good, some of them not so good. But those not so great experiences, those things are proof that you have the ability to deal with it and to figure it out. That fact alone, that you can deal with it and figure it out, gives you an advantage over a lot of people. So quit hanging on to those limiting beliefs that we tell ourselves that you're not good enough and that you're too old and all of those things that we tell ourselves. Quit hanging on to those because, first of all, they're lies. And the main thing is they are holding you back. And they're holding you back for absolutely no good reason whatsoever. Now, how to develop your courage is a topic that we'll talk about in a future video. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can get notified when that comes out. Until next time, let's go tame a little bit of frenzy.